I'm Shannon Martin. Tonight, the return of Kyle Lowry.
It was just crazy, like seeing everyone come back together to watch him because he did so much for the city and so much for Canada.
He's back in Toronto for the first time since the start of the pandemic, giving fans all the feels. And
that's what this $18 million grant is for, to allow for the planning for this to become a fully functioning hospital.
A provincial boost for healthcare in Brampton, a city where hospital beds are desperately needed. Plus,
I'm kind of saddened that somebody didn't come before me, but we're here now. I'm just really happy that it was done through Chloe's story.
A look at history while making history. We'll bring you the story of Canada's first Heritage Minute by a Black female director.
This is CBC Late Night News.
Kyle Lowry feeling all the love tonight from Toronto and getting such a big standing ovation as he made his long-awaited return to the city since joining the Miami Heat. Thanks for joining us. It was all the feels tonight for sure at Scotiabank Arena. A moment fans have been waiting for. Our Greg Ross joins us now live. Greg, on TV, you can see the emotion, but you were there in person. What was it like?
Shannon, this was just one of those special nights that fans who were lucky enough to be here won't soon forget. Kyle Lowry back here at Scotiabank Arena for the first time in more than 2 years. Before tonight, the last time that Lowry was here for a game was February 28th of 2020. He was welcomed back in a big way. The Raptors played a video tribute. You just showed the standing ovation that they got, but the video tribute just getting tears from fans here in the stands, showing highlights from his 9 seasons here in Toronto. He definitely appeared to be moved by the tribute and the standing ovations from the fans. He stood at center court, waved to the fans as they chanted his name. Just a special moment. The only thing fans weren't happy about on this night was the fact that it was Lowry's Miami Heat that won the game by a final of 114 to 109. But here's what Lowry had to say about his warm reception afterwards.
It meant the world to me, for the fans to show their appreciation, give me an ovation like that. To be out on the floor with some of my former teammates, my brothers. I got an opportunity to see Bobby and Masai, just all the people around. It's one of those days where the first time is always special, and you don't forget that.
Tom Brady is often referred to as the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Well, here in Toronto, Kyle Lowry is the GROAT, greatest Raptor of all time. He played 9 seasons here. He made the playoffs with the Raptors 7 times, including that championship run in 2019. He played in 6 All-Star games as a member of the Raptors, and he leads the franchise in a number of categories, including 3-point field goals, assists, and steals. Here's what fans had to say about this night after the game.
It's kind of exciting that me and Dad got to see Lowry.
I was thinking about the finals, the whole playoff run that year, especially Game 6. Lowry had a big game, to win us the finals. So, yeah, it was pretty emotional,
It was just crazy, like seeing everyone come back together to watch him because he did so much for the city and so much for Canada.
Lowry's in my heart wherever I go, wherever he goes. So I'll wrap his jersey.
On Friday before coming here, Lowry penned an article in the Players Tribune. He talked about his relationship with the fans here and, of course, the city of Toronto. Here's an excerpt from that letter. Lowry said, "Regardless of the jersey I'm wearing, a lot still hasn't changed and won't ever change. It's never going to be a wrap between me and this city. With family, it's never goodbye." And Lowry has promised that he's going to retire as a Raptor, even if that means that he has to sign a one-day contract, Shannon, when he's ready to call it a career.
Yeah, you called it the GROAT. That's what he is. Thanks so much, Greg. Well, you may have noticed something in all that footage from the game tonight, a mix of the masked and unmasked. Despite everyone's hopes, experts say COVID is mounting yet another resurgence. As Farah Morelli shows us, with most health restrictions gone, public safety is now largely in the hands of Canadians themselves.
This has basically been the biggest item. Vintage Kyle Lowry jerseys have been flying off the shelves at this Toronto sports shop. The hottest ticket in town tonight, the game itself. Thousands poured into Scotiabank Arena, where masks are encouraged but not mandatory.
I don't feel comfortable not wearing a mask, so as you can see, my son and I were still wearing our mask, especially with this amount of people.
We have to rely on the public health protocols that have allowed us to be maskless.
Canada's top doctors warned cases are going up. The hope is hospitals don't get overwhelmed again. Provinces are counting on high vaccination rates.
It's going to be up to the people if they want to wear a mask.
But when it comes to safety measures, that's being left to personal choice.
From an ethical point of view, we've been told for 2 years that we really have to take responsibility for the safety and well-being of other people.
This bioethicist says the shift in messaging to personal choice has been jarring.
It's been a very, very sharp, sudden, you're on your own, figure this out for yourself, without much of a sort of a passage between the two.
Some worry the lifting of mandates wrongly signals that everything is safe.
I hope people act like there's still a mandate to mask indoors and to keep their contacts limited. This is still a team sport.
A team sport that requires participation.
We're just doing what we can to make sure that everyone that walks through the front door feels safe.
Many fans today are not just celebrating the return of Kyle Lowry, but the return to normalcy too, something they hope will last. Farah Morali, CBC News, Toronto.
CBC Toronto has learned tonight the province will introduce legislation tomorrow aimed at bringing some relief at the gas pump. A senior government source says the province will cut the gas tax by 5.7 cents per litre and the fuel tax by 5.3 cents per litre. The source says that will kick in July 1st and last for 6 months. The announcement comes as drivers face record high prices at the pump in Toronto tonight. Gas is just over $1.60. Well, there is a provincial election on the way, though it hasn't been officially announced just yet. All of the major players have been busy. We'll get to what the NDP pledged today, but first, the Ontario government also announced a $21 million boost for healthcare in Brampton. Our Dale Manukduk has the story.
The city of Brampton and its 650,000 plus residents have one hospital, Brampton Civic. Then there's Peel Memorial Urgent Care Center, meant to relieve pressure off of the one emergency department in the area.
Now, the urgent care center, it usually closes by 11 o'clock in the evening, which means that, if you're sick or if you get hurt in the middle of the night, you still have to go to the emergency department.
That's what Harmandeep Oberoi did last year while suffering with COVID-19. He was sent home and died 30 hours later, 11 months ago to the day.
Why would the hospital send him back? That means he was really sick. Even if it's an ER, I understand it was busy. I believe he deserved at least a bed.
The Ontario government plans to transform the existing urgent care center into an inpatient hospital with a 24/7 ER department.
And that's what it is going to become. It is adding 250 more beds into the system, an emergency department, a full-service hospital. That's not what the people of Brampton had before. That's what this $18 million grant is for, to allow for the planning for this to become a fully functioning hospital.
Exactly when that will happen is unclear. The city needs upwards of 800 more beds to serve its population and needs shovels in the ground now.
After many decades underfunding in the city of Brampton for hospital and healthcare services, when the government makes announcements like this, we're not going to say no. We're going to say, of course. And the reason is because we're catching up.
Brampton has half of the hospital beds of the provincial average, and Ontario already ranks the lowest in the country.
But that means patients lying on stretchers, waiting, surgeries canceled because there are no beds for people to recover in. It means a terrible lack of the most urgent types of healthcare. So they need the hospital.
The government's $21 million investment also includes $3 million to support planning to expand cancer care services at Brampton Civic Hospital. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Brampton.
Well, to the NDP next, kicking off its campaign today, announcing a plan for universal mental health care that comes with a price tag of more than $1 billion annually. Leader Andrea Horvath says it'll provide services for mental health care under OHIP.
Right now,
over 500,000 Ontarians with mental health needs have no access to counseling or therapy services because they don't have insurance. So that's where we'll start. We'll work with existing community-based providers to bring them into the publicly funded system.
The Canadian Mental Health Association says 1 in 4 people in the province have sought out services during the pandemic. Tonight, police say they've made an arrest in connection with the murder of a Toronto woman. Her 20-year-old son is now in custody. Talia Ricci with what we've learned from police.
Police have charged the son of Tien Lee with second-degree murder.
Yesterday, on Saturday, April 2nd, officers were able to locate and arrest Dallas Lee, who's 20 years old, from Toronto. I don't have the specifics of where he was located, but I can tell you he was located in the city of Toronto.
Tien's body was found near Eastern and Berkshire Avenues last Monday. Police say her body showed signs of trauma and some dismemberment. On Tuesday, police released images of Tien's fingernails and toenails, which were painted with a unique pattern. Police say tips from the public helped identify her. By Wednesday, police were looking for Tien's son, who had gone missing but was not yet a suspect.
There was a concern for his well-being after officers attended the residence in which he resided. And that was a concern for his well-being at that time. I don't know when the turning point occurred when he became a suspect.
Dallas is believed to have lived with his mother in a condo building near Carla Avenue and Dundas Street East. Police aren't saying what they found inside the home. This week, CBC Toronto also confirmed Tien owned this nail salon near Yonge and Bloor. A memorial where her body was found continues to grow.
I can tell you I have spoken to the investigators, and they are thanking the public for the amount of tips that have come in regards to this homicide.
Dallas made his first court appearance virtually this morning and is set to appear again on April 8th. Talia Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.
Meantime, a man is dead after a stabbing last night in Toronto. Paramedics found a man lying in the street with injuries to his face. He was taken to hospital where stab wounds to his chest were discovered.
Throughout the evening, the male's health declined while at the trauma center, and unfortunately, he succumbed to his injuries. At that point in time, the investigation determined it is now a Toronto Police homicide investigation.
The call came in just after 8 o'clock at Ontario and Shooter. Police are still investigating, but witnesses say there was a fight. The victim has not been identified, and there are no details yet about a suspect. Officers are also saying this could be a random act of violence. And our friend Sophia is here with a first look at the forecast, and we're kind of in for a wild ride this week, I feel like.
Yeah, we had a little teaser today, the preview of every season in one day, depending on what time you looked out your window. Clear skies right now, though. It's making it a little bit cooler, 2 degrees, feeling like -2, -3 around the GTA. And that brings me to the point I want to make for this upcoming work week. 2 things will dominate. 1, the threat of a passing shower, again, almost every day. And number 2, a raw east wind. And when you've got the Great Lakes only about 2 or 3 degrees right now, a raw east wind can be quite unpleasant in early April, feeling like -5 right now. The clouds will continue to build throughout the day Monday, feeling cooler than -1 when you get the kids out for school Monday morning or get ready for that big commute for many of you. 7 degrees with the chance to underachieve near the lake shores for your Monday afternoon high, with the threat of some passing showers, especially between that London to Windsor area Monday evening, and then the showers move up Tuesday morning up the 400 and around the GTA. I'll tell you about the eventual warm-up this work week, Shannon, when we return.
Okay, thanks, Sophia. We'll be looking forward to that. See you then. And we'll be right back. Welcome back. Hundreds marched through the streets of downtown today as part of the weekly rallies in support of Ukraine.
In spite of the evil, Ukrainian forces have fought back valiantly. Kyiv is now under full Ukrainian control.
It was organized by the Toronto branch of the Ukrainian Canadian Congress. The supporters were chanting and waving flags at Nathan Phillips Square. They continue to rally in support of the war-torn country that's been devastated by war for more than 5 weeks now. Well, there are new disturbing stories tonight from Kiev's suburbs. As Russian forces retreat, CBC News has witnessed firsthand what they've left behind. A warning to our viewers, the images are difficult to look at. Our CBC News team traveled to Bucha. This report is from Margaret Evans with her producer Jason Ho and videographer Jean-Francois Bisson.
A lifting of the veil. Kiev's northern suburbs now officially declared back under Ukrainian control. A convoy of journalists is being allowed into Irpin and Bucha. Neighborhoods under siege by Russian forces for weeks, now free of them, but not of the horror of what's gone on here. There is a dreamlike quality to the journey, the level of destruction hard to take in, and the few people on the street still feeling somehow out of reach. Tales of atrocities soon surface. This is Vokzalna Street in Bucha, littered with Russian tanks and vehicles. It is testament to the fighting determination of the Ukrainian army. Victor and his family endured the fighting for 3 weeks, he says, by living in their basement. But he says many civilians in the neighborhood have been killed. In another part of Bucha, 7 bodies are found lying in a garbage dump. Workers have arrived to transport them. The hands of one man's body clearly tied behind his back. For the living, humanitarian aid is now coming into the stricken areas. Anna says she's grateful for the silence that's come with the Russian withdrawal. A mother and grandmother, she says Russian troops were on her doorstep a week after the invasion began, looking for weapons and Ukrainian soldiers. I was on my knees asking them not to touch our children, she says. We were lucky. People tell horrible stories about what the Russians did to them.
It was very bad, but we are staying.
But there is resilience too. 12-year-old Kirilo Bodin survived a month underground with his mum and 5 pet snails. He doesn't think the war is over just because he can come out now.
I think no, because war is going out of us, but it's continue in another places.
Water is still flowing in the Irpin River, the bridge above it battered in one of the first battles of the Russian invasion, when Ukrainian troops stopped a Russian convoy on its way to Kyiv. It's a scene like others here that seem to have stood still until now. But each move on these once peaceful streets pulls the curtain back a little bit further.
You may have seen the latest Heritage Minute. It shows Canada's history of slavery and the path that led to its eventual demise. Those behind the series say it is a story that needed to be told.
My goal, what I wanted to do, is make something that people would, after they watch this, go on Google or go on social media and try to find out more about Chloe.
I don't care what the law is. I will never be a slave.
But this one, it has this hard emotional punch to it because we had to showcase, we had to represent what Chloe went through. We couldn't hold any punches, but we wanted people to know that slavery existed in Canada. Because she resisted, it's on the books that this happened in Ontario. Because she resisted, that's allowed the legislation to change to end slavery in Canada. Even though it took 40 years, it was because of her cries and screams that it happened.
Well, Heritage Minutes, they're their own brand. Every single bit of what is on screen has to be historically accurate. Everything we sourced from the set decoration, the location, the costumes in Upper Canada, and in March of 1793. It was shot at the Westfield Heritage Village, which is outside of Hamilton, as well as the Hamilton Conservation Area for where we had the scene on the water.
I'm telling people who Chloe was and who she was, and she was real. This person changed so much, and I continue to think about it because, you know, we talk about the Underground Railroad and we talk about Harriet Tubman, but I have to believe that what she did is what propelled the push to come north, because this law changed so much, and it was her first and then Harriet Tubman, but she opened that door, and that is just so powerful to me.
Being the first Black woman to direct a Heritage Minute, you know, I'm proud of that. I'm kind of saddened that somebody didn't come before me, but we're here now. I'm just really happy that it was done through Chloe's story.
And it's got more than 1 million views in the first month. Pretty incredible.
Amazing. Paving the path for more to follow, hopefully.
Yes,
Fantastic.
Yes. So
We're
tell us the news here. What do we got to face?
Well, we're paving the path for another week where you're not going to be sure what jacket to wear throughout the day. It's the curse of Canadian spring that lasts for, well, a week or two. Monday morning, though, I talked about how cold it's going to be, feeling like -4. With the wind chill as you're getting the kids ready for school in the morning. Let's have a look at those passing showers. It'll be, again, a London to Windsor story. Monday afternoon and evening, the clouds will build for the rest of us. You'll see those passing showers early Tuesday morning during your commute. A little bit of icing with that cooler air up the 400 towards Barrie for those of you Tuesday morning. You'll get a few sunny breaks here and there, but look at the temperature difference for those of you away from the lakes compared to that cool, raw east wind that we talked about a few minutes ago. Okay, passing showers on Tuesday, but Wednesday, it's more of a rainy day in the south later on. So Wednesday p.m. into Thursday morning is when the heavy rain comes. It's Thursday morning for those of you in the nation's capital, and this could even mean some snows if you're north of Sudbury up to the Timmins area, but it really whets the appetite for a really nice day Thursday. Okay, so showers Tuesday, rain Wednesday into Thursday. Look at the double digits. We'll have more rain into the weekend, but let's focus on Thursday for a minute. It's the third consecutive Thursday for anybody who's counting where we've had balmy double-digit temperatures preceded by a Wednesday that was sort of dicey and wintry and wet. High confidence in the precipitation being rain and it being kind of a cooler day Wednesday, but then pretty nice next week, hopefully, and enjoy this bonus day on Thursday.
Okay, we will. Thank you so much, Sophia.
I'll see you soon.
Okay, that is our show for tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Before we go, though, it's an exciting night in the world of music, especially for some homegrown talent.